Hey guys, how's it going? My name's Seth. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Yes, more Heavens Burns Red content because people like it so much. So, yeah, today we're talking about a very anticipated unit. It is the Yunxia SS1 as they call it, the base SS for Li Yunxia. Yeah, she is considered tier 0 in a lot of tier lists, and I'm here to really explain why that is, why she is so good, and because I can get through talking about Li Yunxia in a very short amount of time, I'm also going to be talking about the other featured banner that is out. I think it's already December 6th, right? Yeah. It should be out by now. Um, there's three units in there that I want to talk about today. It is Inferno Sanctuary Yuina, who is a blaster. We have Cardinal Reverberations, Luca, who is an attacker. And we have Little Red Rebel Hood Cuttin, who is also a blaster. Okay, let's get into the pros and cons of each Memoria. First off, we're going to be talking about Yunyun, of course. Her pros is that she has a very incredibly high damage boosting skill that increases hit rate by 5, which is a good amount, and you can stack it twice, so you can increase a character's hit count by 10, which is absurd, almost unheard of. It's like doubling most characters' hit counts, which is pretty crazy. And also has a doping like skill that sacrifices DP instead of defense. And also the biggest pro of this Memoria is that you can use the skill at 0 SP and go negative, which means you can use it on turn 1. You don't have to pick and choose when to use her exclusive skill. You can just use it whenever you want. Like, you don't have to have the SP to do it as long as you're positive or over 0, which is pretty insane. That's why a lot of 31x units or members are really good, because they can do this. Her cons is that she needs a crit rate and crit damage buffer. Like, this game is of course like all about the getting the crits, making the most out of the crit damage. So you need another buffer with her, which is something that can be remedied very easily. Like, that's a very minor con. It can be easily fixed, so that's why she's so good. Okay, and I guess we're already done talking about Yunyun and why she's like crazy good. So let's talk about the new outfits featured banner. They all have high hit count and are all AoE, so let's get into the first one. First, we have Inferno Sanctuary Yuina, who is a blaster. She's a good unit for multi-target content. She hits 12 times, which is a lot. Pair that with Li Yunxia and you get 22 hit count, which is crazy. And the more enemies there are, the more hits you get off, which results in higher overdrive gain. So the more hits, the higher your hit count, the more overdrive gain you get, which is a nice plus. But that's not like the driving force here. That's not why it makes the style good. This also results in good devastation rate gain, because you hit so much, it just goes up drastically. And she also inherits a single target skill that applies high devastation rate, which is nice sometimes when you don't have the SP to use Inferno Sanctuary or the exclusive skill, because it's the SP cost is 15, which is ridiculously high. That's like the first con. The other con is AoE content is niche. Like, she doesn't have a lot of places to shine in the game at the moment. Score attacks are mostly single target and at most 2 targets, but you can just clear it with a solo DPS anyway. She also doesn't do like enough damage to solo DPS content. In the clip I'm showing, I make it so that she can on like quote unquote endgame content. This is endgame farming. It's not endgame content per se. So yeah, I can't find a good way to showcase her damage because she just doesn't do a lot of damage. Next, we're going to Cardinal Reverberations Ruka, who is an attacker. She's also, again, decent unit for multi-target content. She also hits 12 times and has the same pros as Yuna without the devastation rate. She just does more HP damage. She, for some reason, inherits a skill that applies high devastation rate on single target, which is kind of strange since she's an attacker. I feel like in this game they tried to make Luca just a jack of all trades, master of none type of deal. So yeah, it's a strange skill, but the skill can be good on other variations of Luca who are more single target oriented. So you don't have to run the blaster with her. You can just use this skill instead. The cons is light weakness, multi-target content is very, 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 very niche. I only had to use her one time in the 2.5 years the game has been out. Um, but when I needed her, I was happy to have her because yeah, there was just one single score attack. I can't remember when that had 2 targets, and Luca did help me out there, but that was the only time I was grateful to have her. Next, we're talking about Little Red Rebel Hood, the Red Rebel Cuttin, who is a blaster. Exact same pros and cons as Yuna, but hit count is 10 instead of 12. Take that as you will. She just does a bit more damage for lower hit count. Is fire element instead of thunder like Yuna is. She inherits a AoE skill that applies high devastation rate, but you can't move for 1 turn. So it does good damage though, so it's good for farming. Not the exclusive skill. I mean the normal skill you get from just having the Memoria. And yeah, it's good for farming. Again, I can't find any content that you know that works out. Okay, and I think the biggest thing we have to consider here is the SP count. So Infernal Sanctuary Yuina, her exclusive skill costs 15 SP, which is on the higher end of things. Cardinal Luca's SP count is 14, and Red Rebel Karen's SP is also 15, which is fine. So to put it into perspective, if you have all the right accessories set up, you should have 6 SP at the start of battle, and if you're at Limit Break 1, your front line should have 7. So because of this, if you're at Limit Break 1, and if you put them in the front line for 2 turns, and then send them to the back line, you would get 15 SP because you start off at 7, and then the next turn you get 10, and then the next turn you get 13, and then you should have 16 if they're in the front line the whole time, or you can get 15 if you put them in the back line for 1 turn. Either way, you will still use this skill after 3 turns. You can get this skill after 3 turns. It is the same with 14 cost skills from Cardinal Luca and Red Rebel Karin. 14 SP, you can have them in the front for 1 turn and then send them in the back for 2 turns, and then they can get up to 14 SP that way. Or you can keep them in the front a little longer, get a couple like extra SP just in case. If you're at Limit Break 0, and you don't want to invest too much into them and you want to just have them because they look cool, right? You will start off with 6 SP in the front, and then you can only gain 2 SP no matter what because you don't have Limit Break 1. That gives you 1 SP per turn in the front lines. So because of this, it's going to take you 6 turns, double the amount of turns for you to be able to use a 15 SP skill. So because of this, the 15 SP cost on Yuna's skill is absurd if you don't have Limit Break 1. So that is another huge thing to consider if you're rolling for these, because 15 SP is a lot, and you have to Limit Break once for Infernal Sanctuary Yuna if you want to use her effectively. So yeah, they just sleep on that for a little bit. But yeah, my overall thoughts, I highly do not recommend going for the outfits featured banner because those 3 units are all high hit count AoE, and that market is very niche. All of these units are not considered good by any means. They're good for farming, but that's it. And I'm sure a lot of you don't really have trouble farming. Yeah, I'm not gonna recommend any of these units in this banner, but for Yingxia, she's crazy good. She is a staple on a lot of teams. I don't use her that often. I'm still using China Dress SS2 Seika just because she's for me she's really easy to use, and she gives crit buffs and damage boost anyway on her skills. So I think yeah, she can be replaceable. You don't need Li Yunxia that badly, I'd say, and you also kind of get her for free in later content where they give you like free SS tickets or free selection SS tickets. You can get her that way. Yeah, I'd say if you like Nishia, then go for it because I think she's still a good unit. But the other ones, please do not do not waste your cords, please. Although I do love Inferno Sanctuary Yuna's outfit a lot. It looks super cool. Please don't waste your cords. Yes. Thank you. That's all from me. Bye bye.